We've flown from Australia to Boston, hopped on a train to New York, and then took a bus down to Jersey, all so we could spend less than 24 hours in Atlantic City. So, did we regret this?
Okay, so let's get right into it. Is Atlantic City safe? But first, if you don't know where Atlantic City is or what it is, Atlantic City is in New Jersey. And if you watched our last video, we were in New York and we were taking the Greyhound to New Jersey. And so it's about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive from New York City. It's really known for the casino vibe, the beach vibe. It's basically like a mini Vegas right on the strip of the beach. I feel like when people go to the East Coast that aren't from the US, they just go to like New York. A lot of people don't go to like Boston, which I get, like you're limited on time. So I really wanted him to experience it because it's like its own world.
I feel like Atlantic City is a butt of a lot of jokes in Australian culture. Like people have heard of it through it being like not really Vegas, like a poor man's Vegas. It seems to have copped a lot of crap as being like a second class Vegas.
And it is. So our expectations going into this, I have not been to Atlantic City since I was studying in New York, which was like 2009, probably 2008, 7. So I was like, what's the vibe like in 2023? So I was doing some research, I found some reviews, and it was like you're gonna get stabbed, there's drug addicts everywhere, like go at your own risk kind of thing. And I was like, do I really want to take it here? I was just like, I don't know about this.
We got off the bus. Luckily our hotel was nice and close, but the first thing that happened when we arrived at the hotel was the lady at the counter was like, stay on the strip.
Yeah. Don't
leave it. So with the reviews that we read and with the locals saying that, our vibe was we are gonna get stabbed. We should have brought a stab guard.
And she was a local, so we were like, she's like, I've lived here my whole life and I don't know why people come here. And I was like, you're not really selling this establishment. I was like, you're not really looking for return customers, are you? Yeah. We were like, we're gonna make the most of it. We're just gonna have fun. The reality of it, I had fun. I had a good time. And I was really excited to show him around. Like once we got onto the boardwalk, I wish we could have stayed longer. That's how much fun we were having. The place that we stayed, I would stay there again.
If you guys watched our cabin tour in Healesville, this place has that exact same vibe. Old chandeliers, old bed frame, but like classy old, clean, new. It's nice. The reality of it for me is when we got there, it's just like every other major city in America. There are some homeless people around, there are some safe areas. We went to Philadelphia on our last trip and the center of Philadelphia was like dangerous to walk through. But I mean, we had just come from New York and there was some homeless people there and some safe areas. And Atlantic City, to me, was no different. It was exactly the same. We walked to a 7-Eleven that wasn't on the strip and there was a bit of a vibe. And then when you're on the strip, it's very touristy, friendly, and super fun. My experience of it is I don't know how it isn't more popular than Vegas. It's got the casinos, the drinking, the vibe, but there's a beach right there. You're not stuck out in the middle of the desert. You can get on a train and go to New York in, you know, an hour. Like it's so not isolated. I'm surprised it's not bigger than Vegas.
You ever been to one of these cheap theme parks and worried like what if something goes wrong? This ride literally just broke.
I loved it. So the hotel that we stayed at was the Chelsea Inn Hotel, and even though the owner or receptionist gave us a warning on the area, the place was great. The hotel was air conditioned. It wasn't exactly modern, but it was clean and well kept. They put on an awesome breakfast. The interior of the hotel had a whole like 1920s vibe throughout it, and I think they really did that just because of the age of the building to just let it all flow together. And even though everything was from the 1920s and the decorations were, everything was clean. Everything was clean and immaculate, so you're in this like old building, old setting, but it's nice, it's clean. And it was like a 5-minute walk from the boardwalk, and that is like a 5-minute walk from the beach. So everything was nice and close. I think we got in at about like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock at night, and we had to walk across the boardwalk, through the casinos, into the hotel. Perfectly safe the entire time.
So we decided not to stay in one of the hotels inside the casinos because I like the idea of just being a little bit away from the craziness and being able to like come home home and being able to come back at the end of the night to a nice quiet environment where we could get a good night's sleep. So we're in our 30s now. We opted out for like sleeping underneath the casinos and the craziness.
And we had done a couple of nights in hostels, so we were like, let's just sleep when we get to Atlantic City after we've partied a bit.
It was so nice just having our own room with a giant king bed. That bed was so comfortable. In the room we stayed in, it gave me like farmhouse vibes, and I was just like, it's cute. It was like cute and quaint. I really liked it. When it comes to reviews, I like to take them with a grain of salt because I like to go and form my own opinion, because you just don't know. You don't know what it's gonna be like when you get there. And so I encourage you to do the same with what we're saying, because it could be a totally different experience for you. Hopefully better, not worse.
Yeah, we had a good time, so.
I feel like when you go to Atlantic City, you get to choose the kind of vibe you want. You can have a relaxed beach experience where you're just lounging on the boardwalk, eating food, going shopping, or you could be gambling, having the party night, like all that kind of vibe, like really like spend some money. And then there's like amusement parks, so it can be really family friendly as well. I feel like a lot of people just think like, oh, just casinos, drinking, but I feel like it has a lot to offer for a lot of people.
And I think what's amazing about the boardwalk is it's sort of like the center hallway to all these different experiences that you can choose to have at Atlantic City. It is a real experience, just starting at one end, walking down the other end, and going from family friendly to just debauchery on the other side. It's great.
And then I will say that the boardwalk, do not underestimate how long that boardwalk is, because we did not even conquer like half of it. Like we were walking for so long, just checking things out, grabbing a drink here and there, grabbing a slice of pizza. I was like, there's still so much more to go. There was a water park at the end, and I was like, oh, I saw a video on YouTube, so I just wanted to see it. And it was so far away, we ended up not even having time to make it to it. So
the casinos won.
like, it says, there's signs everywhere saying like no drinking on the boardwalk, but we were definitely drinking on the boardwalk, and I don't know if we're supposed to say that.
There are bars on the boardwalk that serve open carry alcohol.
Yeah, so it was really confusing. I don't know if anyone knows like the rules. If you go and you are, you know, into socially drinking and all of that, Boardwalk Billy's or Billy's Boardwalk, go there, because they have like frozen drinks. You can get like daiquiri margarita, like all the things. It's just like slushy machines on the wall. It was amazing, but they are so strong, and we didn't realize until it was too late.
For the Aussies out there watching, the sort of shops that you're going to get along the boardwalk strip, it's very similar to the sort of shops that you get in Thailand when you go browsing through there. The sort of knick-knack stores, they all have the exact same t-shirts and hoodies. And, you know, it doesn't say it, but it's that vibe of haggling is part of the deal. I'd never been to like any of the American casinos before. Big and very confusing. Big. Also, smoking indoors. I don't like that. Not fun at all. But people are there, gambling, smoking, all good. I had a bit of a go at the roulette table, and I was up for a bit, and Jamie's dad killed me for this because I didn't walk away while I was up, and I was up. You guys let me know down in the comments when you go gambling at a casino. If you go gambling at a casino, I don't want to assume everyone does. They're not all horrible people like me. If you go gambling at a casino, do you go in there with the intent like, this is the money that I'm playing with, and if I lose it, I lose it. If I win, I win? Because to me, I go in there with say 50, 100 bucks, whatever the number is, and I'm like, I'm playing until this is gone, and we're either here for 20 minutes or we're here for 3 hours having a good time. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, he goes into gambling with a losing mindset. Yeah. He's like, I'm not walking away with money, and I'm like, that is the worst idea ever. Yeah. Like, he doesn't even try to win money. If he wins, it's going back into losing. Because
I'm going into gambling to have fun gambling.
Yeah.
Like, and I assume that gambling is a losing thing. Like, the house always wins. So it's like going into an arcade to play arcade games, to play Daytona. Like, we're going in there to have fun, you know?
Yeah, but there's the opportunity to walk away with more than what you came in with. And when that happens,
that's work. That's working.
Oh my god. You see what I have to deal with, people? You'll see the tourist vibes on the boardwalk, but you will also see homeless people, drunk people, And yeah, I'm assuming it can get really crazy at night, especially on the weekends.
Absolutely.
We were there on like weeknights, so we didn't get that weekend. We didn't get the weekend craziness. So it definitely can have that big party side. But I feel like if you want to avoid that, you can just hang out at the beach, go grab food, and then just go to bed. Like, just make sure that you're inside at a reasonable time, and I feel like you can kind of avoid it.
But having said that, again, I don't think there's any more like danger there than there is at any public city, even anywhere in the world. I don't even want to say America. Like going out at Melbourne on a Saturday night, if you're walking through King Street at 3:30 in the morning, there is going to be some trouble there, and you need to stick to the well-lit areas.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing in New York, Boston, Melbourne, Atlantic City. It was no worse than another major city on a rowdy drinking night.
Yeah. Did you feel safe walking off of the boardwalk, like when we went to go to 7-Eleven?
I felt alert. I felt as alert as I feel whenever I'm in those areas.
Yeah.
You know? Worldwide.
Yeah.
Which is not a safe feeling. Being alert is not feeling safe. Being alert is like, there's people around here that look stabby.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, like, when you're on the boardwalk, you're kind of like in the vibes. It's touristy. There are a couple of characters that you're just like, okay, I'm just going to stay away from them. But it, like you said, it's not anything different than like another place like on holiday where someone's had a little bit too much to drink or someone's just a little rough around the edges. But I felt safer when we were on the boardwalk, and I don't think that there's much else around the surrounding areas that you would want to go to explore anyway. So I don't feel like you're missing out by only staying on the boardwalk. I feel like that's what you go there for. So do we think Atlantic City is safe?
Yes.
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 I think when you go to any major city, you need to be alert. Other people might have different experiences from Atlantic City, but other people might have different experiences from Melbourne. And I know people that, I don't know people. People have gotten pickpocketed and stabbed in Melbourne City. So, like, I just think that it is just like any other time when you're traveling. You need to be aware of your surroundings. And I think that, you know, obviously there's going to be areas, but do your research like we've did. Yeah, we don't think that it's like anything that I would say stay away from Atlantic City.
Yeah.
If you've been wanting to go and you've been just a little worried, I say go and just be smart about it and have fun, because it can be a really fun time. Just beware if you go to Boardwalk Billy's. Okay, just beware of the drinks. They are strong.
Margaritas, bro.
So that brings the series to an end, and I know that this series wasn't really like, let us take you around the US, but it never was meant to be. Like we've said, I feel like we're a broken record at this point. This was a family trip, and, you know, family time without the camera was what we were going there for. I didn't want to stick the camera in front of my family's face. I chose to be on YouTube. They didn't choose to have their face in a camera 24/7.
Also, Jamie hadn't been home since 2019. It was a well-needed slow down family break.
We hope that you still enjoyed what little bit that we did show. We do wish that we could have shown more, and we hope that we can do another US series in the future. Have you ever been to Atlantic City? If you have, let us know your experience in the comments below, because hopefully it will help someone else gauge, you know, whether or not Atlantic City is for them. If you've never been before, have you heard of it? What were your thoughts? And after hearing all of this, would you go? Is it somewhere you would visit? Is it your vibe? Are you a casino person, or are you more of a beach person? Let us know in the comments below.
We are back in Australia, which means we are back to our sort of regular content that we're used to putting out. So we're going to take a little break from this series, but next week we are back to filming the stuff that you're used to seeing, and I think you're going to enjoy this because we've been planning it for a bit.
Some really exciting stuff coming up. We're going to do a little end of the year stuff and what's ahead for the new year. That's going to come towards the end of this year. But we're really, really excited. We've got some things planned that we've been talking about.
You'll see, which is a good reason to click that sub button right there so you can see it when it does come up.
Especially if there's animals.
There will be.
We have done our touch-ups on the van, so the van is ready. It's had a service. It is back in order. And so we're really excited to get back into the van for our trip. So That's coming up too. With that, thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing, and I hope to see you tuning in to another video soon.
Bye! Fucking madness.
Electrolytes and tea. Wild
We're
night.
fucking wild, mate.
Wild Saturday
We're wild.
happening here.